Hey everyone, welcome to week 3 of basic drawing. Before we jump into this week's full-on learning activities, a couple things I want to bring to your attention. First of all, I understand that it was hard for a lot of you to find your peers' blog entries to comment on for your critiques, and I don't know why they've made that so difficult in Blackboard to do. So what I've done is for this time around from the ones that were due last night, don't worry about that. I won't grade you down for not commenting on peers' work. In the future, however, I've changed all of those from blogs to discussion boards. Discussion boards are so much easier to write feedback, and it's a lot easier for me to see when you've written feedback. I don't have to kind of jump around and see where you've written it and then go back into yours to grade it. It will show up right in your own post where you've also posted and commented on. So I apologize if that was tricky, if some of you were having trouble figuring that out, but in the future that won't be an issue. Another thing I want to make you aware of, and just to get you thinking about, is we have our sketchbooks due every other week, right? So your next sketchbook will be next week in week 4, and the theme is the great outdoors. I would recommend starting it this week, doing 5 sketches this week and 5 sketches that next week. That way you're not trying to get 10 into that 1 week. So just something to prepare you, to get you to start thinking of your time management there. I just want to bring that to your attention, and hopefully that will help you get those done in a timely manner. So let's go ahead and go back to our week 3 learning activities here. And this week we're talking about applying childhood skills and perceiving edges. I really like the reading this week because she talks about drawing on your inner childhood and how we have a lot less inhibitions as a child. Picasso is one who always said that you have to kind of reteach people how to draw like a child because there's so much freedom there and there's actually a lot of creativity. And she's going to talk about a balance between the good things about drawing like a child and the things that maybe we need to let go and move past. I believe this is where she talks about symbols. And I talked to a lot of you in your feedback last week in your self-portraits about that we tend to develop these symbols, a symbol for a flower, a symbol for a sun, a symbol for a hand, a symbol for eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And they tend to kind of be easily replicated. If you're one of those people who draws kind of cartoon-like figures, that they tend to look very similar and stylized. But we want to try and let that go and really start perceiving these spaces and these edges. It's like what I talked to several of you in your feedback as well when you're doing your hands about noticing negative space and why we did those upside down drawings to kind of help us get out of this idea of we're drawing this specific content, but looking at relationships between lines and weight and spaces and shapes. Okay, so in your reading, you're doing chapter 5 and chapter 6, which is drawing on your childhood artistry and perceiving edges. So really make sure you look through that, get some good tips and tricks there. Our discussion board, so we have our artist of the week this week. We do this every other week. So we'll have a discussion of an artist, and then the next week will be a critique, and so we'll kind of rotate between those, as you probably noticed. So this is a little documentary about Henri Matisse called Les Fauves, or which the Fauves were a group of artists, and they were named this kind of as a derogatory term by the critics, because they said they painted like wild beasts. And so this is going to be about letting go of your inhibitions a little bit. So have fun connecting with your inner child by clicking here. This is going to take you to a really cool link from artbma.org, which is this is a museum. And this would be a fun one to grab your kids and have them engage in this with you. This is a fun week, so it's going to give you some cool little activities to do and talk about Matisse's style and what he did. So have fun engaging with that. And then I'd like you to quickly give a response to each of these 3 questions. So how does Matisse's style convey emotion over realism? Give at least one example from the film. Be descriptive. What do you think was the most radical period of Matisse's work? And what were some of the benefits of simplifying your work that you learned from Matisse? Okay? Make sure you comment on at least one of your peers' posts. So maybe ask them what their impression was about the chapel Matisse design that's at the end of the documentary, or if there was just something they said in their answers to these questions that really resonated with you, or that you maybe didn't agree with. Just engage with each other. This is where we get to kind of get to know each other a little bit and engage with your peers. Okay. Our copy assignment, since we're watching a documentary about Matisse, we are going to draw like Matisse. So you're going to do some contour drawings. So the French word for an outline is contour. So that's really what we're doing, is we're drawing outlines this week. So in a contour drawing, the artist's instruments rarely leaves the paper. So you're creating these really fluid lines that emphasize the mass of a subject rather than its detail. So these are the materials you're going to need. To make sure you grab a ruler. Set up your drawing paper. You're going to do 2 6x6 inch squares on your drawing paper, and then you're going to do 2 contour drawings. So these are some examples of Matisse's contour drawings. So you can see how there are these really fluid lines. The whole shape of the head here is done in one go, right? And so that's where we're talking about these contour lines. He's giving us just enough information to see what's going on, isn't he? So that's something I want you to start experimenting with and stylizing with. So try and lift your drawing material as the least amount as possible. Your tool, your utensil, whatever kind of pencil or pen you're going to use. And you may want to practice these a few times. Grab a few sheets of construction paper and just start getting used to this idea of drawing these fluid long lines. It'll kind of help loosen you up a little bit. And I think students who do that tend to have better results. So you're going to do 2 of these. So basically, you're going to do 2 portraits, right? We're going to do 1 portrait straight on and 1 in profile. So just like this is a straight on face, and this is a profile. So grab your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend or your best friend or one of your kids, and just have them sit for you for a few minutes. It's really cool when you start looking at someone's face from the perspective of drawing it, kind of the little beautiful features that pop out, and that really think about where their personality shines, and what features you want to emphasize the their unique personality traits. Okay, and then we're going to do these scissor drawings. So you will learn about these in the documentary as well. He believed that scissors could be an effective drawing tool, and often created paper drawings utilizing this contour drawing style. So you're going to need scissors. You're going to need 2 sheets of your 11 by 14 inch drawing paper. You're going to need some construction paper in various colors, a glue stick or rubber cement, your drawing pencils. You're going to need that wooden mannequin from your drawing set, and you'll need a ruler. So set up your paper, and then I want you to take that wooden mannequin and move it around into some kind of posture that you really like. The first thing you're going to do, so that first drawing in this, is you're going to break down your drawing into simple basic shapes in your first space. So you've got these 2 8 by 8 inch squares in your drawing paper on each of those 2 sheets. In the first 8 by 8, just all those individual wooden pieces, I want you to draw each one of them. So you're basically just copying exactly what you're seeing on that wooden mannequin. In your second drawing space, create a contour drawing. So you're going to look at that figure, but instead of drawing all those individual little pieces of wood, you're going to draw one smooth shape. Okay, so we're working on breaking down shapes first that will kind of get us really thinking about how this whole figure works together. And then you're going to do a contour drawing where you're not lifting your pen or pencil. You may choose to elongate the limbs here. You use your own judgment to make your figure a little more Matisse-like. So you will have to submit these 2 primary drawings with your final paper cut drawing. So set up your second sheet. Here you're going to use a ruler to create a 1 inch border, so you'll have a 9 by 12 inch drawing space. And you're going to recreate the figure on your construction paper. So you're going to recreate the figure using your construction paper. So here you may decide that your figure needs to be out of 1 piece. So you can see how this figure is done out of 1 piece of construction paper. And you can imagine this being that little wooden mannequin broken down into all these little individual pieces of wood, and then done as this contour drawing, and then cut out with scissors, right? And you can see that this work has been embellished. Matisse has taken this figure, he's added this stripe. This kind of feels like it's, I don't know, either a corpse or is falling through this space or is, you know, kind of dancing. You kind of get to decide here what's going on, but he's also embellished it with these other shapes. So I'd like to see you do that. If you decide to do this just singular shape, I'd like to see you embellish it. So that's one option of how you can do it. You may also choose to do it this way, where you're kind of going back and breaking down those shapes again, but in a different way. So you've broken it down into all those little wood segments. You've gotten one nice contour drawing, and then decide where can I break this up in a unique way. And so you can see the way Matisse has done this, all these pieces, they flow really nicely, and they give this sense of this one solid figure and using that negative space. So these are what I want you to do. One or two of these. One or the other of these. It's Monday morning, goodness. So that's what you've got. So you've got those two preliminary drawings, the breakdown, the contour, and then you're going to recreate it in your scissor drawing with your construction paper. And as always, you know, photograph and submit with your submission instructions. You guys should be pretty familiar with this by now. So for this assignment, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 drawings total, right? You have the 2 contour drawings, you have your breakdown of basic shapes, your contour drawing, and then your scissor drawing. Okay, moving on to your create assignment for the week. We're doing emotional hand gestures. So you're going to do workbook exercises 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And I know it sounds like a lot, but these kind of all go together. They kind of build on each other. So some of these are kind of especially exercise 8, 9, and 10 are kind of all going together. You almost can think of those as being one, although I want you to photograph each step of that so I know that you've actually done each of these workbook activities. But you're going to use that plastic picture plane that's in the back of your workbook. This is where you're going to need that dry erase marker. And then you're going to set the ground in exercise 9, and then you'll transfer it to your hand drawing from the picture plane in exercise 10. So make sure you take a picture of setting the ground that is exercise 9 before you move on to exercise 10, because that's going to be on the same sheet of paper. So it seems like a lot, but actually those 3 are kind of really more like one. You're going to do some pure contour drawings in exercise 7, and then move on to exercise 11 after you've done these. Make sure you do these in order, okay? Because they build on skills, right? In 11, we're doing emotional hand drawings of your hands holding an object. So we're going to do a couple of those. And you can see that I'd like you to use your drawing paper and set up a nice drawing space for that one. So kind of think of 7, 8, 9, and 10 all being almost like practice for 11, which is almost like this final drawing, right? Okay, submission instructions are the same. Any questions about any of these, please let me know. Schedule your time well. I recommend doing the Matisse drawings before you jump into your emotional hand gestures. So kind of schedule that out, but you can also schedule these out throughout the week. I would make sure you definitely do 8, 9, and 10 all in one sitting though. That is what we got going on. Questions, comments, concerns. I had a teacher in high school who always used to say that. Let me know, and really enjoy this week, everyone.